let's talk about exit codes and process operators and subcommands. So every time that your program finishes, it returns a exit code of like how the previous process finished. So if I say date, right, this is a very simple program that just returns to you the current date. If I say echo $?, it'll actually give me back how did the last command finish. This one, in this particular case, it finished successfully, so it returned 0. Any process that finishes successfully, whatever it defines as success, returns with a 0. Anything that returns with anything other than 0 did not finish successfully. So basically, for the most part, the only thing that you need to worry about is the number 0 or is the number not 0? If it's not 0, it did not finish successfully. If it's 0, then it finished successfully. So a good example of this, if I type yes, right, and then I stop it, and then I hit echo $?, it finished with 130, which means it did not finish successfully. Now you might answer, what does it mean if yes finishes successfully? It never does. Because it never finishes, it will never return a 0. So that's the only exit code that it can possibly have is something non-zero. Now the question you might be asking is like, what does 130 actually mean? And my first answer to that question is it doesn't matter. It's not 0, and that's really all you ever have to care about. But I know some of you are still curious, as I was, so I went and looked it up. And there are some general rules of thumb of how things should exit if they don't exit successfully. But again, it's up to the program of what they choose to do about those things, and it's not enforced by Bash, so it depends program by program. However, there are some numbers that generally people use. So here, I wrote some of them down here. 0 means it's successful. 1, which is one that you'll probably see the most, just means like there was an error of some variety. I did not finish successfully because of an error. 2 usually means that Bash failed and not the program failed. Usually you won't see that because Bash doesn't fail a whole lot. The one that you just saw here, 130, means the user used Control-C. Then from like 137 to like 165 or something like that, there's some special combination. So those ones are generally not used by users. Yeah, 128 means that the exit command failed. Like there's a bunch of them out here, and I just wrote down some of them. But again, suffice to say, you'll either see 0, you'll see 1, or you'll probably see 130, because that means you stopped the program. Another one was interesting here. Oh, is 126 means the file wasn't actually executable. But anyway, suffice to say, 0 or non-zero. So why am I talking about this? Well, there's a thing called operators. So let's say I wanted to do something, and I only wanted to do a second thing if the first thing completed, right? So if I said touch status.txt, and I only want to run a second thing if status.txt succeeds, I can do ampersand, which if you program JavaScript, this looks very familiar. This works relatively the same way. Then I'll run date into status.txt. And if that's successful, then I'm going to also append uptime into status.txt. So this will run. If it returns a 0, then this will run. And if that returns a 0, then this will run. Since all those I intend on working, it should all work. So if I cat status.txt, you'll see here the date, right, which is what we saw there. And this automatically puts a new line at the end, so you don't have to do that. And then uptime is a fun command. It tells you how long this computer has been up. So my computer, since I think I restarted it, has been up for almost 2 hours, looks like, and it has one user logged in. which makes sense because this is the uptime not for my Mac. This is the uptime for multipass. Has one user connected and it has no load right now, but it'll tell you like I've been, had 50% CPU usage over the past couple hours, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's what the ampersand is. You'll probably see that a lot in like bash commands, like that you copy and paste from Stack Overflow. Is a bunch of ampersands. So you can do one, or you can do like 5 commands with just one copy paste. That's what that and is useful for. But keep in mind, if you fail any one of those, it will not run the second command. So if I say false, actually let's just run false and then echo $? You'll see that false. All false does is return an error. That's its entire existence, is to not return 0. By the same virtue, you have true as well, and all it does is return 0. So if I say false and echo high, what do you think it's going to do? Nothing. It's not going to do anything because this returns 1, and so therefore it doesn't reach the second clause. If I say true and echo high, lo and behold, it echoes high. Okay? So I wanted to show you as well, there is an OR operator, which is, again, works like JavaScript. It's 2 pipes next to each other. So this runs only if this was not successful. So as you may imagine, this could be like, hey, do this, and if you were not successful, then run the second thing that cleans up, basically. That would be a use case for that. By the same case, if I say true here, it won't run that because it was successful. Okay, now what if you want to run something no matter what? You can say true, and then you put a space, semicolon, space, false, echo high. So it goes through both of these. It runs both of them. It doesn't actually care what that code is, and so it ends up running echo high because it's just going to truck on no matter what.